Space Jam: A New Legacy. Space Jam: A New Legacy. Now, I was looking forward to this movie because I've seen the previous Space Jam, and it's a nostalgic, good time for me. And I know I gave that movie like a C+. It's not a great movie, but it's just filled with so much nostalgia that I kind of love it. And this movie, I knew going into it that it wasn't going to surpass the original. Sequels rarely, if ever, surpass the original. But I was just curious. I wanted to see what they were going to do with it. And they brought in LeBron James for this. Fine. I have no problem with LeBron James, but, you know, this movie could show that his acting chops could really use some work. But he's not an actor, so it's like, what do you expect? He's a basketball player. But this movie is one of those movies going into it's like, did they really think that this was actually going to work? I mean, because no one was really asking for a sequel to Space Jam. Like, I didn't watch Space Jam and think, hey, this movie could use a sequel. No, I didn't think that at all. But starring LeBron James, and basically it's about where there's this thing called the algorithm, or algorithm is what he calls himself, and he wants to become more well known. He wants to get his name out there, and he wants to do that by using LeBron James. And he ends up kidnapping LeBron James' son. So LeBron James has to turn to the Looney Tunes to help him beat Algorithm and his team in a basketball game to get his son back. So basically the stakes are kind of the same as the last Space Jam. You know, in the last Space Jam, if Michael Jordan lost, he'd be stuck on Moron Mountain for all eternity. And, you know, that's it. And in this one, if he lost, everybody would be stuck in the serververse for all eternity. And the tunes would be deleted, basically. The tunes would all be deleted. And I just wasn't feeling it, because last movie, the tunes came to Michael Jordan for help. This movie, LeBron James came to the tunes for help. And in this, I felt like it was just a big plug for different movies and different TV shows owned by Warner Brothers. Because you had references and you know, Easter eggs for Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Rick and Morty, just all these different shows. King Kong, The Iron Giant, Superman, Batman. You just had all these different properties. Pennywise, The Mask. You just had random characters all from the serververse in this movie. And he wanted to use these people on his basketball team, but for some reason, he couldn't use them on his basketball team. Bugs only wanted him to use the tunes for some reason. I'm not too sure why he only wanted him to use just the Looney Tunes, but it is what it is. And we do get Don Cheadle. I like Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle plays a good bad guy in this movie. I like Don Cheadle. I think Algorithm was the best part of this movie. He's the bad guy in this movie, Algorithm. I think he was the best part of the movie. He does play a good bad guy. I think he's good in basically any role that he's in. The motivation wasn't super clear. Like, how is kidnapping LeBron James' son and keeping all of them in the serververse? I mean, it's going to get you name recognition, but it's going to get you universally hated at the same time. So I don't understand that. And also, there's this thing between LeBron and his son. His son is a gaming and tech genius. Like, he's able to create his own video games, like lifelike video games. You know, he has this basketball game where these people are just flipping all around, shooting baskets with style points and all this stuff. But LeBron James wants him to play basketball. He's pushing him towards playing basketball. But the boy just wants to do his own thing. The boy just wants to do his own thing. And it's a constant clash between those two, basically throughout the movie, you know, on him wanting to do gaming stuff and be a gamer and develop video games, and LeBron wants him to play basketball. And LeBron's that stern, hard dad that won't let his son do what he wants to do, and he tries to push him the way that he wants him to go. And that was basically the plot between those two. And I mean, the story was okay, but I just felt like at points I thought, oh my, this is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. Like the Monstars from the original Space Jam, they were memorable. You remembered the Monstars from the original Space Jam. This one, the Goon Squad, it was the Toon Squad versus the Goon Squad. And the Goon Squad, they're not that memorable. I can't name you all the members of the Goon Squad that were on there. But there was like a cool one that could like have water and fire and change between water and fire. That was pretty cool. Throwing the basketball around like with water and like doing fiery stuff, and that was pretty cool. Other than that, I couldn't tell you. And the scoring in the basketball game in this was completely ridiculous. It was based off like a basketball simulation with different types of rules, but the scoring and the rules, the way they were laid out in this was completely ridiculous. And the way they would like win and score points and all that stuff. And at one point they went from the toon animation to like the last third of this movie, they went to like live action animation for some reason. I'm not too sure why that happened, but they just did. And I will give the movie this. There was some points in it that made me chuckle. Some points in it that made me laugh. Nothing just like, like where I'm busting the gut, I can't breathe, nothing like that. There's a few moments where I was like, other than that, like 2 or 3. Other than that, no. But the CGI and the graphics were amazing on this movie. They looked really, really good. Really cool. Pristine 4K looking, very nice graphics and animation and all that stuff. There's nothing against that. But the story was it was okay. It wasn't great. It was just, LeBron, he did his best in this, yeah. Granted, Michael Jordan wasn't the best in Space Jam either, but he was better than LeBron in this movie, I gotta tell you. And I didn't like feel like there was any, like there was stakes involved, but I wasn't super into it as I was into Space Jam. And I just don't think this movie was a necessary sequel. I really don't think it was. See if there's anything else I want to talk about here. Oh, and they have Michael Jordan in this movie. And probably not in the way that you think. They're in the locker room, and they're like, we got Michael Jordan! And out comes... Well, I'm not going to tell you. You'd have to watch the movie for yourself, but I was just like... I was just like, oh, that's so stupid. That's so stupid, man. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And if you saw the scene, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just like... Why? But we did see the Monstars also in this movie for a little bit of a cameo. I don't want to spoil too much of it for you. But overall, the movie gets a Space Jam: A New Legacy gets a D from me. It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. I mean, there was some good parts about it, some good jokes, some good one-liners, I guess. The story was decent at best, not the greatest. Some of it didn't make any sense, especially at the end, if you know what I'm talking about. I can't really give spoilers on this, but about the tunes being deleted. But yeah, so I give Space Jam: A New Legacy a D. If you saw Space Jam: A New Legacy, give me your thoughts on it in the comment section below. This is Brandon. Thanks for watching. Peace.